Hi guys, so this is the last filmed training session of the year. So we're going to finish off with chest, and the reason why I finished with chest is because obviously I'd gone from the start of the year where I couldn't even press a 5k dumbbell to now where I pressed the 70s for the first time last week. It's been quite a whirlwind of a year when it comes to training my chest and my shoulders, which unfortunately are my two weakest body parts as well. But I think everything's back up to 100% now, so hopefully demonstrate that in the session today. So if the shoulder doesn't feel quite right, warming up, we won't do the 70s. We'll just play it by ear and go off that way. But yeah, so hopefully it's going to be a nice, powerful session to end the year off in terms of the all YouTube series on how I've been progressing. So speaking of the shoulder, so that it feels roughly 100%. So that some days I'll wake up and it's a wee bit stiff, but I don't get pain in any direction. I don't get pain in any movement. If I do, like, for instance, PB, I will notice tightness through the shoulder the next couple of days, but it's nothing that stops me from doing anything, so that's really, really good. I'm starting to see the balance in my shoulder blades and my back, upper back, looking a lot better as well. Whereas before, I felt I was up like this. The trap was constantly kind of pulling the shoulder girdle up like that. Don't notice that anymore. So it's all good. And then we're kind of not on prep now. So what me and Nick have agreed to do is take off a little bit of the so-called like shit weight or the easy weight to get off. So came back from Florida and the Olympia and weighed in at 291.6. So obviously being in that heat, not eating properly, certain supplements not being in play as well. I dropped 4 pounds, so I left at 295.6. So that's not that bad. Usually when I go on holiday or travel, I lose a lot more weight than that. Because see, when I go into like a hot climate and stuff, I don't like eating as much. That volume of food that I eat at home is quite hard to get in a hot environment. So that's sometimes the difference. But I'm still training at 100% over there, which is unlike me as well. I don't slack off training, but I tend to just go in and have a bit of fun and leave. So yeah, we're on prep now. Dropped 2 pounds last week, just off the back of a 200 calorie from fat, sorry. And we put 10 minutes in on the morning cardio as well. So currently doing 6 sessions of 30 minutes on the bike first thing in the morning. Now, some people may say, oh, it's quite a lot already, but I do 20 minutes year round, so it's not actually that much of a difference. But notice the difference already visually. A subtle layer of water's come off, and I feel a little bit better as well. My energy's a lot better just because I'm doing a little bit more in the morning. So yeah, off to a flyer. So I've got something on every weekend in December, as most of us do at this time of the year. And then as of January 1st, it's full tilt into the prep, and we'll shoot for shows in April. So hopefully do the Scottish regional, if that ever gets announced, and then a pro qualifier the first weekend of June, depending on when that's announced as well, because I want to do the Alicante pro qualifier that Greg Taylor done this year. So that's a really nice show. I like the setup. I like the venue, blah, blah, blah. All these wee things that kind of make it just a show I want to do. So, and also the standard is really high. So yeah, it's been the year's been different. It's probably been one of the toughest years in terms of trying to stay motivated and not get too frustrated, which hasn't always happened. I mean, January through April was quite I don't say tough time. Like, people have been through a lot worse than a shoulder injury, but it was a time I didn't really particularly enjoy. But now, it's all behind us now. I think I peaked at 303 pounds, fairly lean at 303 as well, which is good, which is a new body weight high for me. So I think I've taken my physique to a new level despite that. So that's one thing to take away from this year, which I'm quite proud of. So yeah, we'll get cracking today. There's a few exercise changes. So I'm using the flat press for our plate loading movement, and then we've swapped out a bicep movement. That's pretty much it. So, but like I said, I just want you to see how I'm able to train even after something like that. So that's the main thing. Cheers for the support, and yeah, let's get to it. So we were doing 4 sets of 20. We're now doing 3 sets of 15. And the first 2 sets we're not going to failure anyway with the previous 4, but we're still trying to avoid failure with the first 2, got failure with the last one, and then into a triple drop set. So again, just trying to fire as much blood into the chest as we can prior to going into pressing so that we don't have to use as much load when we move into our presses. That's still the kind of theory that we're going by just now. So it's been working all year. So we're just going to keep that going. So what I'm trying to do, so the right pec, so the right side is the side that's kind of atrophied a wee bit since well, it's not anymore, but it had initially at the start of the year. So what you're trying to do is I'm trying to focus more on the right side. So as I'm coming up, I'm telling myself like right, right, right. So that allows me to concentrate my mind onto the right pec. The left fires regardless. So I'm trying to get a little bit more connection with the right because I kind of lost that at the start of the year. So when I'm going through this, it's something to take home as well if you've got a dominant or a less dominant side, is to, so if you're doing a bicep curl, you want to think you're constantly working that one side. If you're doing any kind of iso-lateral work, or no, unilateral work, so just keep reminding yourself which side is the weaker side and keep concentrating your mind onto that point. Let's go. Come on, just up there. Okay. Good lad. Okay. Come on, at least 5. 2 more. Good. Good. Come on. Here we go. Come on. Up. One more. Good lad. Go. Good. Right on. Yes. Yes. Good lad. One more. Good lad. So the press of choice is still incline dumbbell press. It just allows for that variability between the 2 shoulders, whereas obviously a bar doesn't. If I do this first, I've got the most out of my chest for the most part, so I'm just kind of finishing it off with a plate loading machine. So that doesn't really matter too much that I have that variance there. I don't need as much variance there, sorry, when I'm not pushing the load as much. So yeah, incline dumbbell. Worked up to the 70s last week for 6+1. So that was good. But I wasn't sure about the loading and stuff like that. We'll see how this feels today. I can usually tell from the very first warm-up how the shoulder's going to feel. And that felt absolutely fine. So I can usually sometimes predict if I'm on a pec deck or any kind of fly movement prior to pressing. I can sometimes feel from that if the shoulder's going to be up to action. So yeah, everything seems to be good just now. For instance, at the start of the year, I was really struggling with impingement. Right at the top was constant impingement. I get to about midway and the lockout would just be non-existent because it just had no power there. Still got a wee bit of tightness to the infraspinatus, but it is getting better over time. The shoulder seems to be kind of sitting back into a similar position to the left, so it's making pressing and everything on that front that little bit easier, so or comfortable. So for me, it's more so trying to get over that mental barrier of I've been spent all year protecting it. And it's just knowing that it is willing to move and willing to work. So it's about working through that kind of mindset of constantly trying to protect the shoulder. Like even when like, I don't know, I pour like water out of a kettle, I'm still a wee bit wary about my shoulder pinching, but that doesn't happen anymore. Handles on these are quite thick, so are the 70s, so wee bit of chalk. We'll lie down and pretend you're way to do an incline press. So see when imagine you're loading one side at a time. So imagine you do what I do, I load it first, like that. So just have your hand here, like that. You don't need to push it though. Just have it there. Just the right side, yeah.
See, good. Yeah, go in. Come on, nice and tight. Again. Yes, again, come on. Oh, Davey, get your hand. Right up. Yes. There. Again. Easy. Yeah. Go on in. Here we go. Right up. Yeah, get it. Good lad.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, fuck right. Yeah, all good. Nothing. It's fucking terrifying.
Okay. Yep. Good lad, come on. Rev up. Yes, here we go. Up we get. Okay. Get. Come on, that's all you. Right. Got it. Come on in. Yeah. Yep.
So we're using the flat press. So it's not a press I particularly spent much time on, to be fair, but I was using that one in Orlando. Fair enough, it had a neutral grip, which felt a lot better on the shoulder, but that feels okay. So run with that for a wee while, see what I can get out of that. So I've always been trying to target kind of upper shelf, upper pec region. But obviously, I've just done that. I'd say it's I think it's enough kind of stimulus to the upper pec. So anything just bringing pecs in is a plus at this time anyway. So, right, aye, ready.
Walk it out. I'll be there. Oh, yeah, all you. Okay, one. Still you. And I'll move that. Go again. Driver. Yes, there we go. Right, right. Good lad. Control.
Now just the case of being consistent with that 70. So that's no longer taxing the rotator.
Yes, go on. Yeah, again. Go on in. Oh, you. Touch it. Again. Right. Yes, mate. There's another there. Come on, take it. Right up. Good lad, well done.
So as usual to finish off chest, we're just going to accumulate as much blood into the chest as we can. we've done our 2 heavy movements. We've done incline dumbbell for 2 sets, and we've done a plate loaded press for 2 sets. So for myself, and for Chris as well, that's more than enough in terms of pressing. Anything more than that, you're just kind of just filling the void, so to speak. So shift away from that, just drive some blood into the chest. So obviously when you're shifting that amount of poundage, you can't necessarily always like picture focusing as much squeeze as possible. We are getting a good contraction through it, otherwise we wouldn't be using that weight because we want to control weight the whole time. But it's still not going to be as, you're still not going to give you as good a connection doing this, for instance, compared to a heavy incline dumbbell press. So I'd like to get a mix up of everything.
What would you want to change?
So still throwing in a wee bit of volume with shoulders, post chest. So just 3 sets of 20 side raises. We were doing push for a few, maybe about 3 or 4 weeks. I don't know why I always do this. I always say push sessions have never felt good for me. Having a chest press, a shoulder press, and some sort of tricep heavy press movement. Always trick myself into thinking it's a good idea. Every time we do it, like shoulders start to go, rotator cuffs start to go. I just don't think either of us agree with like the pressing a chest plane and then into a shoulder press. But throwing in a wee bit of isolation, post chest or post shoulder seems to work quite well. So continue to do that. But yeah, I need to stop listening to myself when it comes to like saying that push sessions are superior. For me, they're not. For others, they are. But for me, I've never got on with them. I always drift back to a body part split. So. Three straight sets, easy bar curl. So the bicep setup sometimes changes week to week, just depending on what's free and what we're feeling. So can always use easy bar as a staple and then kind of switch out the other two. So try and do some iso cable curl, and then been doing alternating dumbbell a few weeks now, so jumping into that nice and light, like bicep stuff for us is mostly kept quite light. 3 sets, 15 to 20 reps, just filling the muscle up. Don't feel the need to do any kind of drops or anything like that just now. It's literally just straight set, and I've been seeing the improvements in my arms anyway, so it's obviously the main thing. So if you can get away, is adding drop sets and things like that going to add any more progress? Probably not. There's a lot of accumulated volume, and there's a lot of accumulated volume when we do back as well, so.
Yep. Get. Come on, man. Come on, up. Okay. Up. Go on. Get. Good man. Good. Stretch, big squeeze. One more. Right. Right. Oh yeah. Okay. Up. In.
So we're just looking to finish off with that bicep exercise where we're putting as much stress through the stretch portion as we can, or the lengthen portion as we can, and just repping 12 reps each side, just alternating. Wee bit of body movement just to kind of emphasize that contraction at the top. And look, the 7.5, you don't need to be doing anything heavy for these in order to get, I feel, as much contraction to the bicep as you can. So stay away from anything, honestly, above 10. You don't need to be doing anything above that if you're doing this properly, in my opinion. Whee. Okay, so that wraps up chest. So, as kind of discussed at the start of the session, is that's obviously the trajectory the shoulders taken in a year. So we've gone from, like I said, pressing 5 kilo, struggling with 5 kilo, to going to the 70s today. There was a wee bit on the plate loaded press. You saw I'd done 2 sets there. The first working set was a wee bit tight, but then again, it's only my second week doing the 70s, and I find that when I creep up to a new level of strength, the rotator cuff takes a bit of time to get used to the new peak in strength, so to speak. So if you think about it, I was doing 60s for the working set, and I've jumped 10 kilo to 70s. That's a lot. That's a huge jump when I was going in 2.5 increments between each weight. So it will take a bit of time for that to get used to that, the rotator cuff to get used to that. But the good thing is that I'm not feeling pain. It's just tightness. residual tightness. So, like I said, over time, that's going to ease off, and the rotator cuff, you get a little bit more used to doing that. So, as for the, what else did I say at the start of the session? Don't remember. No, anyway, it's going well. So, the shoulders recovered thoroughly, and yeah, we're going to push into this prep as of January, 1st of January, and just kind of use December, like I said, just to kind of get off that last little bit of weight, but not last little bit of weight, the first bit of weight, and just trim up from that point. So, anyway, remember to do all the social media stuff, and speak to you soon.